Hi children, welcome back. Last class we had a discussion on fall of Basileia, organization of French society. What were the reasons that led to the empty treasury, etc. So the next part of our lesson is the struggle to survive. Here we can see one concept, that is subsistence crisis. What is subsistence crisis? An extreme situation where the basic means of livelihood are endangered. What is subsistence crisis? Subsistence crisis is an extreme situation where the basic means of livelihood are endangered. What led to subsistence crisis? Rapid increase in population. So, the population of France rose from about 23 million in 1715 to 28 million in 1789. This led to a rapid increase in the demand for food grains. Population increased as a result of that. Demand for food grains also increased. When the demand for food grain increased, price also increased. But what happened? Most workers were employed as laborers in workshops whose owner fixed their wages. Wages could not match rising prices. So the gap between the poor and rich widened. Things became worse whenever drought or hail reduced the harvest. What is subsistence crisis? It's an extreme situation where the basic means of livelihood are endangered. What led to subsistence crisis? The rapid increase in population. Population of France rose from 23 million to 28 million. That rapid increase in population led to rapid increase in demand for food grain. When the demand for food grains led to price increased. So price also increased, but wages could not match rising prices. Whenever a drought or hail is there, that further made the situation worse. So that the gap between poor and rich widened. This situation led to subsistence crisis, something that occurred frequently in France during the old regime. Subsistence crisis was the phenomena that occurred frequently in old regime. So next part we can see that next part of our lesson is a growing middle class envisages an end to privileges. Growth of middle class. So let's see that in the past, peasants and workers had participated in revolt against increasing taxes and food scarcity. But they lacked resources to bring change in social and economic order. Earlier time, peasants and workers had participated in revolt against increasing taxes and food scarcity, but they were poor people. They lacked resources to bring changes in social and economic order. So the responsibility of bringing change in the social and economic order fell on prosperous and educated members of the third estate. They are called middle class. Prosperous and educated members of the third estate called middle class. As I told you earlier, there were rich and poor people were there in the third estate. So who are this middle class? Wealthy and educated members of the third estate called middle class. The 18th century witnessed the emergence, that is 1789 and all, 18th century witnessed the emergence of social groups termed as middle class. In addition to merchants and manufacturers, the third estate include professions such as lawyers and administrative officials. So they were middle class, they were educated people, wealthy people from the third estate. What were their ideas? They believed that no group in society should be privileged by birth. Rather, a person's social position must depend on his merit. Earlier time we told that first and second estate that they enjoyed some privileges by birth. But this middle class people believe that no group in society should be privileged by birth. Rather, a person's social position must depend on his merit. These ideas envisaging a society based on freedom and equal laws and opportunities for all were put forward by philosophers such as John Locke, Jean-Jacques Rousseau and Montesquieu. So let's see the great philosophers. Great Who were this great philosopher? John Locke, Jean-Jacques Rousseau, let's write Rousseau, they were these three great philosophers. The philosophers like John Locke, Jean-Jacques Rousseau and Montesquieu provided revolutionary ideas and inspired people to fight for their rights. How they inspire? See, what is the name of John Locke's books? Two Treatises of Government. John Locke's book's name, Two Treatises of the Government. In his Two Treatises of the Government, Locke sought to refute the doctrine of divine and absolute right of the monarch. So John Locke, through his book, Two Treatises of the Government, he sought to refute the doctrine of divine and absolute right of the monarch. What is the name of Rousseau's book? The Social Contract. From the name itself we can understand it's a contract. Rousseau carried the idea forward, proposing a form of government based on a social contract between people and their representatives. Then next philosopher, Montesquieu, his book's name, The Spirit of Laws. In his book, The Spirit of Laws, Montesquieu proposed a division of power within the government between legislature, executive and judiciary. Montesquieu put forward the idea of division of power. Earlier it was not like that. All powers were vested on the king only. So king enjoyed absolute power. But Montesquieu in his book The Spirit of Laws put forward the idea of division of power, that is in between the three organs of the government, that is legislature, executive and judiciary. So in this book, Two Treatises of the Government, John Locke sought to refute the doctrine of the divine and absolute right of the monarch. What is the name of Rousseau's book? Rousseau's book, The Social Contract. So in his book, he proposed a form of government based on a social contract between people and their representatives. Montesquieu put forward the idea of division of power through his book, The Spirit of Laws. The ideas of these philosophers were discussed intensively in saloons, coffee houses and spread among people through books and newspapers. Next class, we can see the outbreak of the French Revolution.